Give it a shot. Got to start the motor like that, right? Hey, this is Davin with Hagerty on our Redline Rebuild Updates. We are working on our small block Chevy, and we're kind of at that point where we need to get some things Cerakoted. So we decided that today, being a nice, beautiful day, that we go take a run down to Grand Rapids, about 2 hours away from Traverse City, and go through the coating process that Cerakote does, and well, see the magic. Here we go, and we get to take the Jeep. Well, we made our trip down here and take our parts in and see how things are going here for Spenser. Knock, knock. You good? Okay, well, here we are. We're at West Michigan Cerakote, and here's the man, Spenser. He's going to walk us through the process, show us the facilities, and actually see some parts done too, and who knows? Well, we'll at least get ours in queue.
Alrighty.
Take her from
Thanks
there,
for the intro, Davin. So yeah, this is our shop, West Michigan Cerakote. We've been here about 6 years now. So we do ceramic coatings on a variety of items such as headers, exhaust manifolds, turbos, you name it. Whatever Davin wants to send our way, we can coat it. As long as it's a hard surface and not rubber, we can coat it. Yeah, this is where all the magic happens. You know, to get a good paint job, you have to have it grease-free, and you have to put a profile on it for the coating to adhere. So, you know, we get stuff that has been around for a while, obviously, that needs cleanup. And we get parts that are brand new. So we cater to people doing restorations as well as OEMs.
So what do you use for degreasing?
Yep. We have these two big tanks here that are, this tank is aircraft grade simple green that we dilute with water, and we'll soak that for 20 minutes depending on how soiled the parts are. Sometimes we give it a little scrub with those brushes. Right. And then it would be in a rinse tank, and then we just kind of set them to dry, drip dry, before they go into the oven for a cook-off. We have that tank in the back there, that metal tank, that's actually brake clean. If something is really soiled, and grimy and greasy, we'll put it in the brake clean. It's more aggressive. Yeah, like I said, we do you know, one-off kind of restoration projects to OEM. So this happens to be for another company that we're doing a production run for. These are magnesium brackets that go on electric vehicles, actually.
Oh, really? Now, is this that Ribion that you were talking about?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
It's the arm that holds the charging door. With the Cerakote, they're looking for corrosion protection. It's also thinner. As you can see in these grooves, there's no buildup or hard edges, where on powder coat you might get that because of how thick it is.
Now, is the standard temperature and the higher temperature a different thickness at all, or just based on application as far as applying more?
It varies based on color, and yes, like this is the Elite series of Cerakote. It's thinner, it's a little harder, it's more corrosion resistant than the like over here we have all these Glacier Black parts, which is our Glacier series. So the Glacier series is if you're looking for UV stability and heat dissipation, or heat, the ability to tolerate a high temperature, that's Glacier series is what we use.
Right on.
If it's not going to be out in the sun all day, or it's not going to be exposed to high heats, we have a variety of other coatings, which you see over here, that has other benefits.
So does that meant that oven's done then, huh?
Yep.
Went through its timer?
Yep. So we cure a lot of our stuff at 300 degrees Fahrenheit for an hour. But we can do it at a lower temperature for longer time. So if you, like I mentioned, we could do plastics. We wouldn't want to put something plastic in at 300 degrees. They are lab ovens, so they're very even heating. You can see all these holes in the back are ductwork. It's an even heat, so you don't have like hot spots in the oven. There will be variances in the sheen if some parts get hotter faster than others. Some might be really shiny, some might look dull. We found that having multiple of these lab ovens is better than having one large walk-in oven where every time you open the door you lose heat.
Oh,
and you have
that's
hot
true.
spots.
Yeah,
Not that walk-in ovens are bad, but for our business, this is what makes sense for
No,
us.
yeah.
'Cause
Well,
we're
that
not-
way you can have multiple pieces at different times or
Yep.
whatever too going.
I mentioned the different series where this is like the Elite. It's harder, it's more corrosion resistant than the Glacier series, and that's a baked on finish. Where
Right.
this just sits for after 24 hours. We can touch it, we can even package it, but it's a 5-day for full
cure. Right. So you bring up a good point, because when we initially talked and we were talking about processing and timing and all that, when you said that the high temperature stuff doesn't get baked, it kind of threw me, because I'm like, well, that's always baked.
Right.
And so, but
Yeah.
in this case, it's the opposite. The
Correct.
normal temperature stuff, if you will, or everyday temperature,
Yep.
gets baked, and the high temperature isn't. It's an air cure. So,
Yep.
After you degrease,
Yep. So we degrease.
big
They
bins.
actually bake to evaporate or burn off any
Right.
moisture or oil that's in them, and then we sandblast to
Yeah,
give it
okay.
a profile. After the sandblast process, we blow it off with a high pressure air, and it's ready to go. But like I said, if we see oil or anything leaching out of it, then that process starts back over again until
goes
we get
back
all of
through,
that out.
yeah.
Once it's ready to go, this is our fancy mixing station. So most coatings that I should say all coatings that we bake it's a two-part. So we have the Cerakote itself, and then there's a hardener that we mix in, and we can add more or less hardener to change the sheen if we want it matte or a semi-gloss finish. We'll mix up depending on the size of the job. Sometimes it's small little beakers like this where we'll set our tear weight, pour in our coating.
now, is there any kind of primer? Do you prime the bare metal at all?
Nope,
Straight
no
up.
primer, straight on. Yep.
Interesting. Okay.
And then the Glacier series, which we're going to spray here in a minute, is actually already has the hardener in it. There's no mixing required, so
okay.
it's actually pretty straightforward. Agitate it well. It does get strained through a filter, and then it's
So then that can must have it probably have some amount of shelf life, I would assume.
a year as long as it's stored appropriately.
Color-wise, what would you say? I mean, you got an open palette of colors. In fact, probably got one of them.
There's over 120 colors that we can offer, but we can also custom mix. So if you've got a specific color that you're looking to match up, we can take a look at it as long as we have a reference piece and say, yes, we can get very, very close to that.
All right.
Yeah, there's the whole
Ideas,
custom
project
the
ideas.
whole-
You don't know what you're getting yourself into by giving me these ideas, right?
So we do a lot of valve covers actually, where somebody's building a hot rod and they want like a American flag on there. So we can layer up colors and do like a red, white, and blue
Oh,
theme.
okay. So like layered stencils or something. along those
Stenciling
lines?
and yep. So we're artists, and we also have we have a laser engraver too, so we can laser in logos. We can use the laser to actually cut those indents to fill. So we could deep laser engrave into a piece of metal your logo, and then fill in all of the proper lettering so that.
Wow, that offers a lot of customization. That's cool. All right. In a quick, I walked in the door and I'm not sold. I haven't been watching Redline Rebuild, and that guy hasn't been telling me how great Cerakote is. What would you tell me when I'm walking in the door and I said, hey, you know what, I need these coated. Why? Why use Cerakote? What's my big advantage?
For sure. So big advantage of Cerakote, corrosion protection. Michigan, anywhere you live, these parts are going to be outside, they're going to be in the elements, they're going to be exposed to moisture, heat, all sorts of UV. So corrosion protection being number one, keep parts from rusting. Two, it's thin, it doesn't chip, it doesn't flake off. If you do whack this with a hammer, it's not going to crater out on you. You're not going to be able to get your fingernail away from, underneath it, flake it away. It's going to stay at that point of impact. So it's very abrasion resistant as well. So if you're, if other things are rubbing up against it, it's gonna hold up. You know, it's a coating, so it's not bulletproof. I don't want to set that,
Right.
you know, that false expectation that nothing is going to damage it. But overall, it is very durable.
Well, good deal. Well, we're going to leave these in your very capable hands then.
All righty, we will get going. Thank you guys for coming out.
You're welcome. Thank you. All right, well, we're just leaving our Cerakote guys. Spenser was very hospitable with us and showed us around the ins and outs of their process. And hey, my rockauto.com tip of the day is get to know not only the people that are doing the work for you in this case, but also the process so you understand it. And of course, you can apply it where it makes the most sense. Pretty simple. We're headed home, and we got to get back to the shop and get our work done. So you know the drill. Time to get your body out into your shop and go get your work done. See you later.